ABC News Live, I'm Kimberly Brooks. Thanks so much for joining us. We're continuing our deep dive into the Mueller report, and the people of Paris are moving forward after the Notre Dame fire with Good Friday and an incredible rescue of an elite cave diver. But first, here are your headlines.
Columbine High School is set to mark 20 years since the massacre there tomorrow.
Even though Columbine High School is closed today, students are encouraged to instead do service projects around Denver. Other campuses here in Colorado are open. Students around the country may take part in a walkout marking the time the shooting started to honor lives that were lost. Schools here in Jefferson County are urging no walkout, but many years it does happen.
In Northern Ireland, a deadly shooting.
Dissident Republicans, thought to be from the new IRA, are being blamed for the killing of 29-year-old reporter Lyra McKee during rioting in Londonderry. This eyewitness says
she fell to the ground and lay on the ground beside the wheel of a police Land Rover.
Police Chief Mark Hamilton.
This public order situation saw over 50 petrol bombs from the police, 2 cars hijacked and set on fire. And then, unfortunately, at 11 o'clock last night, a gunman appeared and fired a number of shots towards the police.
Violence broke out after police searched a number of houses in the neighborhood. Real Housewives of New Jersey husband Joe Giudice has lost his appeal to avoid deportation to Italy. Joe's lawyers appealing the Board of Immigration's ruling to a federal judge. The longtime women's basketball coach at the University of North Carolina has resigned amid racism accusations.
After an external review, investigators found Sylvia Hatchell made racially insensitive comments and applied undue influence regarding players' ability to compete through medical issues. The review says Hatchell is not viewed as a racist, but her comments and subsequent response caused many in the program to believe she lacked awareness.
All right, we begin with the Mueller report. Did you read it? Because yesterday felt like the entire country, at least all of the media outlets, had joined a book club. In this case, the book was 2 binders, 448 pages, minimally redacted, providing the public with an even closer look at the Trump campaign's interactions with Russia during the 2016 election. So I want to go to Mike Levine in our D.C. bureau. Mike, you know, the thing that I think stuck out for most people was Volume 2 on obstruction, where there are so many instances where President Trump wanted his closest aides to obstruct, but they just wouldn't do it. So my question for you is this. For example, if I wanted someone to seriously, say, rob a bank, and then they decided that they didn't want to do it or they weren't going to do it, am I still culpable?
Listen, the devil is always in the details, right? How do prosecutors prove that you were serious about wanting that bank to be robbed? In Mueller's report, he basically lays out close to a dozen episodes of things that look like obstruction, and Mueller says himself that he can't exonerate the president. But how do you prove that a crime was actually committed? And Mueller himself basically says that he's not certain a crime was committed, so then how do you bring that charge?
Yeah, it's really difficult. And one of the things that Dan Abrams kept saying in our coverage yesterday, he kept pointing out that Bob Mueller made his decisions through the prism of, you know, not being able to indict a sitting president. So where does that leave us?
Yeah, Mueller certainly framed his whole report. He started off by talking about that opinion from the Justice Department that a president can't be indicted. But that was him just framing it. He basically then went on an entire dissertation, an academic perhaps dissertation about the evidence that he found. And he basically again said that he couldn't conclude definitively that a crime was committed.
All right, and just, you know, we can go back to your day yesterday. You were one of the people in the Justice Department seeing this report. What was it like to see it for the first time and be in there?
There was so much buzz, so much almost anxiety and excitement waiting for this report. And then as soon as it was public, it was complete silence. Everyone just stayed there. You know, they were reading intently, and it was incredible.
So can you just give us an idea of like what the rest of your day looked like? Because that was a lot of time poring over all of these pages and sections.
Yes, I mean, it was a lot of typing. My fingers hurt. We basically were trying to find those nuggets throughout the report. You know, as you said, close to more than 400 pages, trying to find those nuggets that really basically showed the public what Mueller had found. We, of course, knew the overarching conclusions, but what did he find specifically, and what did the public not know about those little episodes? One episode that just really struck me was the moment that the president learned that Mueller had been appointed in the first place. He was in the Oval Office with his then Attorney General Jeff Sessions when Sessions told him about Mueller's appointment. The president, Mueller says, that the president sort of slunched back in his chair and said, "This is horrible, this is terrible, this is going to end my presidency, I'm effed."
Wow. Yeah, that moment stuck out for everyone. Mike Levine, thank you so much for your work, and the work continues, yes. So, yeah, thank you. And after reading the report, the House Judiciary Chairman, Jerry Nadler, he issued a subpoena for a full unredacted report, and he's demanding that Mueller testify ASAP. So let's listen to him on GMA this morning.
We have to hear from Barr, which we will on May 2nd. We have to hear from Mueller and ask him a lot of questions. We have to hold hearings and hear from other people, both on the question of obstruction of justice, where, as I said, the special prosecutor invited Congress to look into that, not the Attorney General. We have to look into all that. We need the entire report, unredacted, and the underlying documents in order to make informed decisions. And after we get that, and we will subpoena that entire report today.
Yeah, so I want to go to Lana Zak, who's at the White House. Lana, some strong reaction from Congress, obviously, but no official words from Trump, although he is tweeting, and some new ones this morning.
Yeah, well, when the report first was released, the president felt vindicated. He said he was having a good day. He tweeted out a meme that seemed ready to post immediately as soon as the Attorney General left the podium that read "Game Over," a Game of Thrones style graphic that he had made up. But even though his campaign is still trying to fundraise off of it and saying that they're ready for retribution and ready to investigate the investigators, we're hearing right now from the president on his tweets that maybe he's feeling a little bit differently. He's tweeting now, "Statements are made about me by certain people in the crazy Mueller report in itself written by 18 angry Democrat Trump haters, which are fabricated and totally untrue." He goes on to use a word that I'm not going to be able to use here. So what's prompting this, Kimberly? On the matter of obstruction of justice, the picture that the special counsel's report paints is not flattering for the president. In fact, they say that he tried several times to shut down the investigation. He tried to use his authority to try and get people within the administration to block the investigation. But according to page 158 of the report, the president was unsuccessful because, quote, "the persons who surrounded the president declined to carry out orders." So this isn't a matter of the president, according to the report, not trying to impede the investigation. They say he absolutely was trying to hurt the investigation, but that the people around him didn't follow through.
All right, Lana, thank you so much. We'll continue to look into all of the details of this. It's going to be interesting. Thank you. All right, guys, and now we move overseas. There's so much news that it's hard to believe that the Notre Dame of Paris was literally in flames just Monday. So the city is moving forward, celebrating Good Friday, and authorities are moving forward with the investigation. So I want to go to James Longman in Paris with more. James?
Hi, Kimberly. Yeah, so investigators now believe that it could have been an electrical short circuit that started the fire here at Notre Dame on Monday, perhaps even from one of the elevators that was being used to take workers up onto that roof, one of the makeshift elevators, because remember, there was a $6 million renovation project going on at the time of the fire. And investigators have now questioned 40 people, including cathedral members of staff from the cathedral, but also workers who were up on that roof. They haven't been able to get inside properly. They haven't been able to search the building as they would like because it's still unsafe. They're going to have to put wooden planks to secure the walls because remember, all of that timber, 800, 900-year-old timber frame of that building, which keeping all those stone walls up, well, all that basically is gone. So there is real concern here about the structural integrity of that building. And today, of course, is Good Friday, one of the most solemn days in the Christian calendar, and there will be celebrations here today. Easter celebrations themselves this weekend are being moved to two other main churches here. I think all the symbolism of renewal and rebirth this Easter are really going to be powerfully felt here in the French capital. Kimberly?
All right, James, thank you so much. Yes, the people of France are resilient. And as he mentioned, it's Good Friday and Catholics around the world are observing one of the church's high holy days. So I want to bring in David Wright, who's in London. David, the Pope is holding Good Friday services today. What makes this holy day so significant?
Kimberly, this is the most significant holy day for Christians around the world, not just Catholics, but for Pope Francis, where they're just beginning the celebrations of Good Friday, the observances of Good Friday, I should say. This is a day-long thing. It culminates this evening when the Pope himself does the Stations of the Cross. These are the 14 positions from Christ's sentencing to death to his crucifixion and death. That's the meaning of Good Friday. This is the day on which Christ gave his life, Christians believe, for them. And it's 2 days from now that we observe Easter, which is the rebirth of the church. So this is the solemn day for Pope Francis. Interestingly, today he's called on a nun who specializes in victims of human trafficking, in helping those folks, to talk about people who are crucified in today's world, trying to make the religious significance of events 2,000 plus years ago relevant to today.
And what you mentioned before that you were talking about, following Mass, they're doing the ways of the cross. What does that symbolize?
These are the 14 stations of the cross. They're images that are taught to every Sunday school kid. Christ is sentenced to death. He carries the cross. He sees his mother. He stumbles for the first time. 14 points along his way, which are points that you can see in Jerusalem on the Via Dolorosa. And they are also have been modernized by Pope John Paul into a kind of Christian teaching about the entire Christian passion. And that's what will be celebrated starting at the Colosseum tonight and culminating at Palatine Hill in Rome. It is a very solemn affair. The Pope basically walking metaphorically in Jesus' footsteps and sharing his death so that on Sunday, Easter Sunday, the church can celebrate resurrection.
All right, David, thank you so much for those updates. Yes, we have the Catholic community celebrating Good Friday and, of course, the Jewish community celebrating Passover. So I want to move now to this extraordinary story out of Tennessee. One of the elite divers who helped rescue the kids, the 12 boys that were trapped in Thailand, has been rescued himself. So I want to go to Steve Osensami, who's in Tennessee with the latest.
Kimberly, authorities here in Jackson County, Tennessee are celebrating the successful rescue of an experienced cave diver who was trapped in a cave that's about a mile away from here on private property. It's blocked off right here. We can't get to it. But this experienced cave diver who had gone in to go exploring was trapped in this cave for more than 28 hours. He had lost his guideline, which is a thin piece of rope that they use to get themselves in and out of the cave. That we don't know exactly how he lost that guideline, if it broke or if he just lost track of it. Anyway, he was in that cave for a number of hours. They had to fly in another cave diver, a specially trained cave diver, to rescue this guy. The guy who they rescued is Josh Bratchley. He's British. He was found in an air pocket in that cave that was the size of a room. And just to give you a sense of how massive this is, from the air, this looks like a pond, but it's actually 40 feet deep, and the cave itself is some 400 feet, we're being told, long from one end to another. It's really amazing, and it just underlines how dangerous this extreme sport is. It's a very deadly sport. Despite everything that happened, this diver says that he's planning to begin cave diving right away.
All right, Steve, thank you so much. That's an incredible story, and I'm just so happy that he was saved. That's at least some good news. So I think before we head into the weekend, I think it's only right to have a proper national forecast. So let's go to our Ginger Z. Ginger?
Kimberly, thank you. So much to get to here on Good Friday. As we get into the holiday weekend and folks are doing Passover, they've got so much going on and they're all traveling. Watch what's happened. Already more than 300 severe storm reports with this system that is marching across the east and the south. Jackson, Mississippi, showing the debris flying there. Damaging winds were in excess of 70 miles per hour already and will be again. And tornadoes can be embedded in there, just like they were for Morton, Mississippi, where you see the damage, homes taken down, only one wall standing in some of them. So let me tell you what was happening this morning. It was that strong line, very heavy rains, also at Peachtree Corners, Georgia, so it's a suburb of Atlanta. Strong enough, even this morning, to take trees into this apartment complex and just rip right in. This is the type of storm that's coming your way if you are in South Carolina, if you're in North Carolina or Virginia. So Lynchburg, Raleigh-Durham, Greensboro, all the way down into northeastern South Carolina, all included with that damaging wind. We're talking about 70+ mile-per-hour winds that take down power lines easily. You could see tornadoes. You could see the flash flooding anywhere from Tampa Bay up through Georgia, Savannah in the risk area, and the slight risk area reaches even to just south of Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. But I will tell you that north of all of that action will be heavy rain, especially Friday night into Saturday. We have pictures out of Little Rock, Arkansas, where they had nearly a half foot of rain. It was a daily record, smashed their old record, of course, flooded the streets, closed some schools. And this is what we have ahead of us here as we get into our early Saturday. A lot of folks from Washington, D.C., up through Philadelphia, even into New York and New England, so Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine, all have the potential to end up with 2 to even 4 inches of rain with some of these storms. So something to note if you are traveling here on this Friday. Kimberly.
Thank you, Ginger. Lots of rain, but maybe it makes sense with the rebirth, resurrection. We'll just put it into a nice perspective. And, you know, it's Easter weekend, so who said Easter egg hunts were just for the kids? So Stefania Okali is in Lake Jackson, Texas, to show you why it's not.
Not your typical egg scrambled, but a massive egg scramble, 20,000 to scramble 4. It's go time here in Lake Jackson.
Just run and grab as many as you can.
But first,
get so warmed up.
A good stretch.
The goal is, you know, get as many eggs as we can, have fun, definitely have fun, and just enjoy the moment.
Packing these fields, it's easy. The hard part, the strategy. Just how do you win?
No bag, because you got 2 hands to grab eggs, shove them down your shirt.
With no bag.
With no bag.
Like, I've already kind of picked out like my path. I'm gonna go straight towards that little one right there.
What if someone gets in your path?
Try to just go around, I guess.
So you don't have a plan B? Always have a plan B. Because when the lights go out and the horn sounds off, flashing headlights come rushing towards the center. And there's no telling who will find the golden ticket amongst 20,000 eggs. Hundreds cracking through dozens of eggs.
A lot of smarties.
A majority only to find candy. But for some lucky scramblers,
who got the golden ticket? I got the golden ticket.
He got the golden ticket.
I got the golden ticket.
2 golden tickets that thousands wanted.
I got the golden ticket.
Can I have your golden ticket?
No.
Oh well, it was worth the try. In Lake Jackson, I'm Stefania Okali, ABC 13 Eyewitness News.
I am really happy for the guy with the golden ticket. All right, guys, so that's Easter weekend coming up. And guess what's Monday? Monday is Earth Day. So this weekend, try to do something nice for the planet. Recycle, you know, spend some time in nature, do something. And of course, take care of yourselves. And if you're around now, you can stick around for the briefing room at 3:30 p.m. And then you can check out World News Prime at 8 p.m. And if you want to stay updated on all of these headlines, because there's a lot of news, you can go to abcnews.com or download the app. I'm Kimberly Brooks. Happy Friday, happy Good Friday, and I'll see you next week.